Okay. Yes. So, hello and welcome to this new episode of Meet the Goddess. I'm your host, Matilde, and today we have as a guest Janet Meade from Mother Mia Herbs. And Janet is first and foremost a dear friend of mine, but she is an amazing herbalist. She is a Reiki master, and she has had 20 years experience in alternative healing and practices. And today she's here to tell us a little bit about herself, her story, and we are going to talk about alternative ways to bring natural products in our house, in our homes, which is such an important topic. And she has also attended Dragon School, and that's where we met. So
It
that
is.
was some amazing experience. So welcome, Jeanette. I'm
Thank
absolutely
you.
thrilled to have you here.
Thanks, Matilde. Thanks very much. Very excited to be here and be part of this as well. So, yeah, looking forward to chatting for the next while with you.
Yes. So the first thing I want to ask you is, um, for all the people that are listening to us that haven't met you before, is a little bit about your story, how you actually got to start this journey with the alternative healings, the alternative
Yeah.
products, and
Yeah.
how that went
So,
for you.
basically, I've always kind of had a bit of an interest in natural things, but not really ever focused on it until I became pregnant with my first son in 1998. And been pregnant then, I was a bit low on iron, but I found the tablets that they had at the time from the doctor was actually really upsetting my stomach. So I just tried to source alternative ways of helping increase my iron through food and other ways. So I came across a brilliant book called Natural Home Pharmacy, which became my Bible for years after that. But yeah, so I started taking the nettle then while I was pregnant and kind of didn't take, what the doctors would tell you had to take back then, like 21 years ago, 22 years ago nearly. But so that was kind of the beginning. So I dipped it in and out over the years. I have 4 children altogether. So each pregnancy I would take my nettle. And also after my first son, I suffered with postnatal depression as well. So I didn't want to go down the route of antidepressants. So again, I researched and I had my little book there, and I didn't have internet at the time, no anything like that. So it was all just books researched, books from the library or books that I would buy or friends would borrow. So yeah, so I came across St. John's wort. So that was another herb that was kind of introduced into my life. And so I was taking St. John's wort for quite a while actually, which I found just amazing. And also with my son, I remember when he was younger, he had a bit of an eye infection. So I was researching what can be good for eye infection. So, I've kind of just been using it in the home quite a lot over the past 22 years. And only really started getting into actually saying, okay, I'm going to start learning stuff now in 2008. So it would have been 10 years later. Um, I trained as a life coach in 2008 initially. I knew what I wanted to do, loads of things, but it's like, what do I want to do? What do you name all these different courses? I knew I would love to learn healing, but I didn't know what type of healing because I'd never come across Reiki and all these different psyche, all these different names of healing. So I just started off doing life coaching because there was meditation in it and a little bit of yoga. And I thought, oh, okay, that sounds good. And then from there, I happened to come across a name. I had the internet at this stage, actually, 2008. And I came across a brilliant woman called Margie Shelley, who was teaching Reiki in a community centre in Dublin, which I was really drawn to. I kind of made a goal for myself at that time that I would do at least one course a year. And I'm not going to search for it. I'd search a little bit, but I'll only go to what I'm drawn to and what feels right for me instead of going because, oh, this is a popular course. I wanted to make sure that the people I was training with felt right for me. So yeah, this fantastic woman then, I did my 3 levels of Reiki with her over the course of 2 years, and trained as a Reiki master. And I did 2 levels of Psyche healing, which is a more psychic level of energy healing. And then from there, I happened to come across a woman called Paula Ambrosi. She's a Mexican medicine woman. So she was doing shamanic healing studies at the time, which was over the course of nearly a year, I think, maybe 10 months or a year. We would meet up in Bundoran for a weekend and do lots of work and shamanics and journeying. And it just blew my mind, really. Absolutely loved it. And that was in 2011 to 12. It was throughout them years. And that's when I realized I want to do more work with the earth and with herb medicine and become more connected in that way. So I thought now is my time to do herb medicine. And I think some people are put off. It's like, oh God, 4 years, but it flies.
Yeah.
It really, really flies. You know, it's like, oh God, it's going to take me 4 years to do this. But then, of course, I was kind of looking at different schools online, and nothing appealed to me. And a friend of mine then said she had signed up with Gina McGarry, and I said, that's it. That's what I want to do. So when I met Gina, then that was it. She couldn't get rid of me. I'm still there 8 years later.
I know the feeling. Once you meet Gina, you don't want to let
Oh,
her
she's
go.
fantastic. Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
Every year we finished the 4 years, and then I said, Gina, I don't want to leave you yet. So I did Dragon School. I did one of her astrology classes as well, or courses, and now I go over and help every Wednesday, or as many Wednesdays as I can, just help out and go at weekends. Then whatever schooling she's doing, I'm with her for year 2 this year. So yeah, it's fantastic friendship now. You know, it's a friendship, and she's just changed my life with all the knowledge that she's given me. You know, completely
Yes.
changed my life. I remember going into Gina's class with my perfume spraying, and I remember her pulling back, and I copped on. Then it was like, oh, the chemicals. And then she taught us about that. She didn't just teach us about herb medicine. She taught us about science. She taught us about the body systems. She taught us about how to make our own homes, just, you know, more natural. And yeah, fantastic journey, fantastic, and still ongoing.
Yeah, I'm smiling a lot at that because people that are listening might and obviously know that, but we have done exactly the same training because I've done the 4 years, I've done the
Yes,
astrology, and I've done the Dragon School,
yes,
and with Gina McGarry, and I can't go on the Wednesdays because I live too far, otherwise I would be
yes,
there.
yes,
So
that's it.
she's such an amazing teacher that when you start with her, you really don't.
Oh no,
She teaches about life really, and how to
yeah,
live in a completely different way with the earth, with the elements, and
yeah,
bringing all that beautiful ancient tradition and wisdom with it. So it
yeah.
is a truly amazing journey.
Oh, it's completely different to anything I've ever done. And
Yeah.
it's, you know, I suppose academically going through school, like I left school when I was 15. So for me, all that kind of learning has always been a struggle, but not with this. None of
Mm.
this has ever been a struggle for me, you know, and it's like I totally came home when I came into this journey, and especially with the herb medicine. And it's something that I'm always going to have to keep learning about because there's
Mm.
so much information. So I'm a herbalist, but I'm still learning. And that's what I
Yes.
love about it. I love to learn, you know, and I love to learn about stuff that interests me and makes me feel good and I can help other people with and help my family. So yeah, and that's where Mother Mia Herbs has been kind of born from, really. Just making all the stuff, whatever I make for myself and my kids, any new ideas I have, it's like, oh, look what I made today, you know. And people have been coming to me then and asking for advice and buying products as well. So that's how
Mm.
the whole journey started. Yeah,
Yes. It's there's so much in there. I suppose the first thing I want to actually honor is the courage that you have had at different times when you followed your intuition, with your first pregnancy. Actually, just it takes courage for a woman to not follow what the doctors are saying to you, but actually just feeling into your body, tap into that wisdom and go, there must be something else out there that is going to be better for me. And that is something that is so I believe for me, in my mission, in my work, but I'm sure that is something that is so important for you as well, knowing you from many conversations we've had. It's that empowerment, and this sort of alternative ways of going about things give women, because here we're talking about women, but people in general, the empowerment to actually just make their own decisions with their own body. And that is so amazing. How did you do that? Can you go back, and you time periods back to your past and actually just, that voice that tells you, because I know from my experience, when I approached the alternative, and I know even through pregnancy, I had the exact same issue. Iron tablets were really bad for me. Nettle is what saved me. But I had a little bit, I had done already a couple of years with Gina at that point. So it took, and even with that bit of background, it still took, I had that voice kind of good, but are you doing the right thing?
Yes,
that can really stop you.
it's the voice of fear, isn't it? It's like, because we've been so conditioned and told, oh, you have to do this. Like when I had my son in 1998, breastfeeding was non-existent, absolutely non-existent. I had to fight with the midwives and nurses. They told me that I was being ridiculous that I wanted to breastfeed my son, and only for an aunt of mine who's English, she was like, don't listen to them, and she was just absolutely fantastic the whole way through my pregnancy. And that's really the voice that helped me. Going back as well with them, I think we're naturally born into it, we're naturally, it is our natural heritage, our natural way of being. And I think an awful lot of people have that voice, but they choose not to listen to it through fear, For me, I suppose, always been a bit of a rebel, so I don't really like listening to people. So it's just, a little bit wild. But even as a child, like making, which I realise now is flower essences, myself and my sister, we'd go picking flowers and we'd get our bowl of water and leave it out in the sun and strain it, and we'd make our perfume. Little things that we never had seen or heard of anybody doing before, that we just did instinctively. So yeah, I it's a hard one, really, because some people, I don't know. Some people, we just have different beliefs. I suppose that's what makes the world a great place. Do you know what I mean? And there is a huge positive to doctors and science, and you know what I mean? Like me personally, I have a great relationship with my doctor, and I have to go to her. I'm 43. I have to go and get my hormones checked to see where I am in my stages of life. So, we all can help each other in the whole lot of it, And I think for us, this is our path, and for other people, that would be their path to take a more Western way of living, medicine-wise. But it all amalgamates perfectly well. And I think, especially vaccine debate, it's all this pro, con, whereas people need to understand that we all have different outlooks, and we all should be allowed to just make up our own minds. If you want to go pro, you want to go against, doesn't make a difference. Neither of them are right or wrong. Both sides have their own, benefits to each individual in their own way. So that's the way I kind of,
I suppose is that illusion of separation that we're fed all the time, which is either I've been asked, and I've had that from clients. It's like, yeah, but if I go your way, then I can't, it's either all or nothing. But it's like there can be a beautiful synergy and a beautiful cooperation within the different systems, and there isn't at all this need to be one against the other at all. So
no, and we all have our own kind of outlooks, like we've chosen a natural way. So we would look at certain medications as being chemical based, not good for us, not good for our families. That's our right to choose. If other people feel that that's their way of going, that's their choice too.
Exactly.
But our job
Exactly.
is to help people get back to our more natural state, because we're born pure. We're
Yeah.
born with you know, like our bodies, as Gina would always say, identifies herbs, doesn't identify all this processed stuff, you know, and that's what can create in some people a lot of sickness and illness. But our bodies identify the herbs immediately, you know, as soon as we take them, the same way our bodies identify nourishing foods. Our bodies identify our senses when we kiss our kids and hug our kids. You know, it's natural and it feels good. So that's to me why I love this way of living, because it's a pure way, you know. Not everything, actually. You know, I'm not a Puritan, but yeah, we have to have a bit of balance in life as well. But yeah, yeah, I do my best to live as natural as I possibly can.
It is all about, personally, my journey has been all about reconnecting with what you say, that inner wisdom of the body and how the body actually knows and and can choose. But what has happened, I believe, and I have noticed for myself, is that we've sort of, it's like the senses and the body wisdom has been dampened slightly, as if you are surrounded by chemicals all the time, as
Yeah.
in, as you were saying, you spray your perfumes all the time, you have chemicals in your household all the time, you might, although you show symptoms, as we well know, but you
Yeah.
mightn't actually know or feel that annoyance. I know now, like my home place is completely chemical free. We don't use any beauty products that have chemicals. The cleaning products, as we're going to talk about in a minute, they're all natural.
Yeah.
And I have noticed now that if someone comes in, like Gina was saying, you know, if you come in with perfumes, I'm like, oh, I can really feel that now. And I've gotten the response by some people that maybe I shouldn't keep myself so clean here from chemicals, because that makes me more sensitive, and it's like nearly like that being more sensitive is a side effect. But in my experience, the being more sensitive is just going back to how the body naturally is meant to be. It's meant to be that sensitive, recognizing what's good and what's not good. How has
Oh
that
yeah,
been for you?
absolutely. No, absolutely, because I'm the same. Do you know, my kids, I have my 21-year-old now. He doesn't live at home anymore, but about 2 years ago, he uses his sprays, but which I don't want in the house. But at the same time, he has to find his own way. So I says to him, please close your bedroom door or whatever when you're spraying, and open the window. And his sister, who was only 5 at the time, says, Daniel, do I smell chemicals up there? You know, and I had to laugh, because that's the way I go on, you know. But at the same time, as I said, I'm not going to be totally, you know what I mean? In my home is totally clean. Everything I use is natural. Everything I use on my own body is natural. I use everything on the kids in the bath. All of that is completely natural, organic as it possibly can be. But I will allow them to find their own way as well. But I understand what you're saying. The sensitivity and the smell is just overwhelming. You know, once you actually start this journey, you know. But that's the way it is. My home, yeah, it is. Anyone that knows me, is essential oils all the way. Like that's it.
And as you were saying earlier, you used to actually wear perfumes. You used to
Yeah.
wear chemicals. So, how have you experienced the benefits? What have you observed on yourself personally?
Oh, my skin and everything feels so much better. You know, I find I've always kind of had, I would have been kind of eczema prone as a child, so I can tend to get small patches of psoriasis, not really actually for a long time now, but I found with the chemical washes and stuff, you know, itchy and dry and irritated, and you know, and not really realizing actually what it was all about, you know. And even using lotions, heavily perfumed lotions. And it's only when I start looking into ingredients of stuff and researching what the ingredients were, I was like, God, this is actually, not good to be putting on us,
Mm.
So for me, I can feel the benefit. What I know I'm putting on, most of what I put on myself now is handmade anyways. So, you can feel that kind of goodness, and the smell is actually welcoming. It's not
Mm.
kind of, ugh, you know, my skin feels nourished. Even in the shower, it's just, I love it. I love that uplifting feeling that I get having a shower with my lime essential oil and me, mixed in with my washes, So yeah, just huge difference to myself, because it makes me feel uplifted,
Mm.
using it, even washing my floors and my countertops, and I smell the oils. It's like, and it actually raises your Hertz frequency using the essential oils. So yeah, I
Mm.
find it hugely beneficial, as opposed to now walking down the aisle in the shops and going, oh my God, you can sense it, the complete
Yeah.
difference. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. You spoken there about the hertz frequencies of the essential oil, and you mentioned that
Yeah.
there's that upliftment. So I just want to give a little bit um, of information over that. Now, it's a long topic, and so if you actually feel
Mm,
called to research more on this, of course, you can contact Janet over it and ask her more questions. But essential oils have actually, everything has an earth's frequency, and essential oils have actually been measured, and it has been shown that their frequency is higher than anything. The chemicals, it's on the minus, it's zero
mm,
down, so they don't actually add anything. And our body also has a frequency, so when you're
mm,
using products that match your frequency or higher, you are actually being uplifted, as you were saying. So that,
mm.
which means I'm assuming you're saying it in a sense that you actually get more energy, like rather than being
Absolutely.
that constant feeling of
Hmm.
being dragged down.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah, and that's what it feels like. I have sprays for everything. I have an uplifting spray, and I have a camel spray, and I have you know. So as I don't know, it's very hard to explain it. Because it's a feeling. It's how you
Mm,
feel when you use this stuff. So for
yeah.
me, sometimes putting stuff into words on how I feel can be a little bit difficult. But all I can say is that I feel way better in myself. My home
Mm,
feels, I have people coming in, probably the same with yourself, and saying, "Oh my God, the energy in this house is lovely."
mm,
And to me, it's because I use essential oils to wash everything. Now,
yes.
not neat, just in case people are going to go throwing essential oils neat on their floor, but you
No.
know,
We're
we'll
actually going to go into it now.
we'll go
Like,
into that in a little bit.
yes.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, it's just once you start changing things over, and that's what I want to do, and that's why I've been doing these natural home cleaning courses with people. I want to
Mm,
help people to change, and they can see and experience it for themselves, the difference in how it feels in their home, even their clothes when they put them on. Actually, quickly, I'll just say, I remember my son as well, because I used to use normal washing powders when he was young, and he just broke out, and I thought, panicking, that it was meningitis or something. So I brought him to
mm,
the doctor, and it was the washing powder. So little things like that over the years for me, that I'm like, okay, you know, but I didn't have the tools to change things over until I went to Gina's, you know. So
yeah.
it does affect the body, and especially with little kids with these rashes. I've had a lot of parents come to me with their kids, and I said, you need to change what you're using. You need to
Mm,
change your washing powders if you're using lotions on them. The baby shampoo burned my daughter's head when I used it, seven
mm,
and a half years ago. I had just started my journey with Gina. She screamed. I had to wash it off straight away. So people need to look at what they're using,
yes. Yes.
research it. The same as you
I
would with eating, with your food, you'll research what you're eating. So,
Yeah, I actually, we've had an experience like that with Anya. Now she's 10, but when she was about 2.5 or so, so she was
mm,
beginning to be, well, she was potty trained, but she was beginning also to go to bed without a nap, like even the afternoon
yeah,
nap. So of course there were accidents, because
yes,
it's the natural thing. And but of course there was a smell in her clothes and in
Yeah.
the bed sheet and stuff. And being a busy person and being a little bit lazy possibly at the time, I had in the house one of these, this, you put a drop and it kind of gives a nice scent to your wash.
Oh, yes.
They
Yes.
are little, but at the time it was just like, I think
Mm-hmm.
my grandmother had brought it into the house and I was, oh, look at it's here. Anya literally was waking up in the middle of the night screaming. This whole
Mm.
night terror thing had started. And it was,
Yeah.
I have never seen anything like it. She was just waking up, white in the face in a panic and screaming her head off.
Yeah.
And we actually struggled for a while because we couldn't make the link. And it was one of the days I was like, do you know what? I think it's that stuff I'm using. And I stopped, and it was lemon essential oil and lavender essential oil. Then that went
Yeah.
into the wash and since. I stopped immediately. It was
Yes.
just immediate like that. So it is actually really so important. I guess some questions as someone that is just new to these, that is kind of coming into touch with this can ask is like, but is it going to be effective? It's like, is my worktop in the kitchen going to really be clean if I use thyme essential oil versus the spray that I bought in the shop? Or are my clothes really going to be clean
Mm.
and stuff?
Yeah, of course, clothes will be, absolutely. I have 4 children in total, and the youngest is 4. Then I have 7-year-old guy, he's nearly 17, he's 17 next month, and my 21-year-old. And yeah, absolutely. Sometimes now when the kids were little babies, I would boil wash with baking soda. I remember years ago, I don't know, was it starch? They used to have these big, huge pots, and they'd be cleaning the men's white shirts in them. So I do that with the kids' baby grows or vests or whatever, and just use baking soda instead of whatever the normal chemical is, and a little bit of vinegar, and just boil it up, and then give it another rinse through the washing machine, and that seemed to bring them up nice and white. So I think there's always ways and means. Um, I think, me personally, yeah, I think it still cleans just as well. You know.
Yeah.
Natural stuff does. I don't find it any different in my home, really. Bit more elbow grease maybe would be needed for scrubbing
Yeah, sometimes.
certain things, but other than that, no. I find it all fine. Like, even washing up liquid, I'd buy like a natural based one. The Lily's Eco Clean, the Irish company one, is lovely. They do nice
And it's
fabric
local as well,
softeners.
which is
Yeah,
absolutely brilliant thing.
exactly. Yeah, and they do a lot of nice products, which I believe they're selling some in Aldi now as well. I think I saw an ad
They
for
are
it.
beginning to sell in shops, yes, and
Yeah,
it's great because you can also, when you go to small shops, you can get refills as well. So you're
yeah,
conscious because everything that you make at home, you're reducing also all the plastic use of
yes,
the containers, which is an amazing
yeah,
thing as well. And also you can just source ones that you can get refilled.
yeah.
Well, we have 7 cats in the house. We have a dog, and I use my essential oils in the spray cleaner for the kitchen, and I have to say I have never had an issue with,
Mm,
because we know actually
yeah,
the essential oils have been tested and
yeah.
they actually kill 100% of bacterias and
Oh,
stuff,
the
but
bad
we've,
bacterias. Yeah, but
yeah,
they leave the good bacteria
but
in
they leave the
place, which
good
is
ones.
what's important. Whereas the
Yes.
chemical stuff will kill all bacteria, and our body needs a certain amount of bacteria to build up immunity, you know? And this is a whole nother talk as
Yeah.
well on it. But, so yeah. And it's great that studies have been done.
Yes.
People can find them easily enough, I'm sure, online.
Mm,
But
mm, mm,
yeah,
mm,
they
mm,
work
mm.
very effectively, very, very effectively. So,
So we are, well, the next question is, because we are actually going to have an amazing workshop just in the middle of July. So,
mhm,
well, but whether you're watching these afterwards, anyways, it doesn't matter. But we are going to be talking in this workshop about the specific, the cleaning products and how you can
mm,
bring more natural cleaning products in the house. So just talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I will be doing just a little, because we had planned on meeting to do it in person, hadn't we?
We
But
had, yeah, that was before all of this lockdown and madness.
But was that was before, but I will be doing. I was just talking a little bit about some of the dangerous ingredients that are in the shop bought cleaning products now at the minute, and kind of the effects that it has on the body and what it can actually do to the body. You know, it can affect hormones. We won't go into it now. We'll be doing it on the day, and I will be doing some demonstrations on how to make your own countertop cleaners and spray cleaners. How to wash your clothes naturally, how to make natural air fresheners, how to clean your windows, mirrors, all of that sort of stuff. Wash your floors, your ovens, your toilets. And basically, if anyone wants to partake in the demonstration, I just give them a little list of stuff to have on the day if they want to try and make it themselves, or I'm sure they can rewatch again anyways.
Yeah, but it's also great even for people that are listening now, because it's a list of products that, you know, if you ever want to make your own things, you're gonna wanna
Yes,
go buying
that's
and
it.
have. So like it's great
Yeah,
to have that. Yeah.
that's it. And if they're going to be on joining in on the day, the 18th of July, isn't it, Matilde?
Yes, yes.
Just to have some bread soda, baking soda with them, white vinegar, any essential oils. Well, we would use lemon and thyme and lavender, but if they have any others there, bring them along as well. But they would be the three main ones to have. Some recycled spray bottles if you have any. Recycled jars like your, I don't know, coffee jars or olive jars or whatever you have, the glass jars. I'd say a lemon, just one organic lemon, and then some labels so you can label your stuff yourself. So that's just a list of stuff that will be used on the day I'll be showing you how to make your own stuff. So
And isn't it incredible? Like it's such a simple list.
yeah.
You know, I mean, anyone can get access to those things. And most of the things that you mentioned, we actually, maybe not the essential oils if you're not into aromatherapy, but everything else you'd have in the house. It's all stuff
Yes.
that you have there. And so it kind of burst that myth that to make things alternatively is so much harder. Because I know when I first approached it, I thought, oh my God, where do I even start? You know, but it's like
Yeah.
it's such a simple thing.
Yeah, absolutely. It is. It's simple, and not just simple, so much more cost effective. You know, when you have a family there, like these washing powders and sprays, like I was the worst in the world for buying all that stuff, you know. Washing powders, oven cleaners. There was a cleaner for everything. Toilet cleaner,
Yes.
window cleaner, sink cleaner, you know,
Yeah.
grime and dirt buster and all these things. And they cost a fortune. Whereas these ingredients, you can use them for everything, to clean absolutely everything. They're very effective. And you will know when you start using it within a couple of days in your home, the difference. Even after the first day, you will actually feel lighter in yourself, you know, and your home will feel and smell just lovely, you know. So I hope people actually join in on the day and they bring the few bits with them to.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
nice to
Yes.
see other people doing it as well, you know.
Um, it is incredible actually what you're saying, because most people don't realize that the same ingredients, just in different formats. Like you will have your spray bottle for your countertop, of course, then you put them in your washing machine differently, and but they actually clean everything. i
Yeah.
i know, I remember from my grandmother, not so much my mom, because my mom doesn't clean the oven. But my grandmother used to clean the oven, and that was like one of the hardest jobs. I mean, when you have to clean the oven, you go, guys, I just need
I
2 hours,
hate.
I need to clean the oven.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it just, I remember just, I don't know, just putting baking soda inside the oven literally, and then putting vinegar, and you leave it there for a few minutes as you do something else, and then you go back and all the dirt just comes off. So it's
Yeah.
actually so much easier than being there like scrubbing like mad for
Oh
like an
yeah.
hour.
Yeah. Yeah. Or it can be left overnight even. I'd often leave
Yeah.
it overnight to soak, you know. because I hate cleaning ovens as well, so I have to put a bit
I
more
don't think
effort in.
anybody likes it.
It's the one job. But yeah, but we'll be going through all of that on the day, and telling people exactly what they can use and how to use it, and the different the benefits and properties of different essential oils that they will be using as well.
Yes.
And like the thyme and lemon, lavender, what it will actually do.
Actually, I
Yeah.
wanted to ask you, so because that's a question that might come up even for people listening. Why? So the lemon, thyme, and lavender would kind of be your base. I know that we can add other essential oils and to
Yeah.
suit the taste, but those are kind of the essential ones to use.
There would be, yeah, because they would have the properties that have been tested as well, antibacterial, antimicrobial, antiseptic, antiviral. So all these things that these sprays would say, like kill E. coli and kill this, that, and the other. These essential oils actually have them properties in them. So that's why I would use them,
Yeah.
for washing the clothes, because I have young kids and my daughter did have eczema. The lavender in washing clothes, because it's gentle for children. So yeah, that would be mainly why I would use them three together.
Yes.
I use an awful lot of different ones, but them three would be my main ones, because I know then any bad bacteria that may cause any kind of illness within the home, it will be killed off.
Yes.
Basically.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
so that's why them oils would be used, and the effectiveness of them, and I'll be going through that on the day as well, which is why I said for people to have an actual lemon, an organic lemon on the day, and I show them how to make a lemon vinegar, just to make their sprays more effective. So they have great properties for not just cleaning. The lemon as well acts as a degreaser, so it does when mixed with the vinegar. So it would help to, make that a little bit better for cleaning. And yeah, so it has all them properties that we need for cleaning, really, So.
And
Yeah.
I suppose also there is another thing that is really fantastic. I find really fantastic about it is that you can't really make a mess. Like even if you don't know so much and you actually put a little bit too much baking soda or a little bit less vinegar, or
Yeah.
like it's not actually gonna explode.
No, not at all.
You know?
Not at all. No, definitely not. No, nothing's going to. Well, sometimes it can. It can way too much. But yeah, in general, no, it wouldn't. I know as well. That happened to me once, actually. That's why I'm laughing. It did kind of explode and fizz up everywhere.
That was vinegar and baking soda, I bet.
Vinegar and baking soda mixed together. Yeah, it was my first time to try and get my kids' white clothes white in the big pot, and had kind of hot water and added the whole lot. It was everywhere, like no. So yeah, that was a lesson learned. Sometimes you have to use a little bit of balance with it, but in general, look, it's it's great experimenting and seeing what works, and then to be able to help people and give basic guidelines that they can use, and then to experiment. There's no right and wrong in any of it, It's all about finding what feels good for yourself in this whole journey, and then having the basic tools then to help you, along the way.
Yeah, so. I had a very interesting conversation. I used to practice, well, now obviously with the lockdown that's gone for a while, but I used to practice martial arts, and our trainer was cleaning the mats, because of course your skin would be in contact with this mat, so they need to be very, very clean, and he would use chemicals to clean them. And there were other places that used vinegar to clean them, and the whole argument was that people were finding it really hard to cope with the smell of vinegar. And I was like, yeah, but what about the smell of bleach? Now, I mean, guys, vinegar smells better than bleach. But that's where the essential oils actually really come in for me anyways. Like because I know my daughter hates vinegar. She actually Anya really thinks vinegar smells like death. She hates it. But with the essential oils, then you actually don't get that. If you don't like the pound of vinegar, you don't actually get that.
Not at all. No, you can put enough vinegar into your cleaning stuff to make it effective without being overpowering. And it takes
Mm.
a couple of goes to actually get that balance. Because I remember the first few times I'd made me spray, it was like, oh my God, it smells like chipper in here, you know. But you find that balance. I don't use too much because you are diluting some of it down as well with
Mm.
some water, filtered or spring
Yes.
water.
Mm.
So it and then you can put quite a lot of essential oils in, you know, and
Mm.
it kind of masks the smell. So it's actually really, really nice smelling stuff that can be made, you know, with enough vinegar in it to make it effective. Because vinegar is, again, is a great degreaser as well. And it's great
Mm.
for cleaning windows, for bringing up the shine. And people know that anyways. I think a lot of people would have done a bit of vinegar on newspaper to polish their windows. It's always, well, I remember in my family, they always did. So yeah, it's just finding the right way yourself to do it. But we'll help them anyways
Yes, I
and
like
discuss it.
actually the little detail you're after giving now, about using spring water or filtered water, because if
Mm,
you're just using tap water, you're actually bringing chemicals in as well.
yes,
And most people
yes,
are not aware of that, or we don't
yes,
think, oh, it's just water, but actually there is
yeah.
a pile of chemicals that is coming into
Oh,
the tap. If
chlorine,
you,
fluoride, yeah, there's loads in it. And we can't escape it. You know, I still have to use that water for my showers. I can't escape it
of
100
course,
million percent. But with my drinking water and cooking and stuff like that, yeah, and my countertop sprays, it would always be filtered or spring water if I've got to the spring.
yeah,
So, yeah.
that's important to underline, is we can't actually escape everything, but what this is about is to our body is strong enough to actually take a
Mm,
little bit of the chemicals, a little bit of
yes.
the bad food, a little bit of
Mm,
it. We are actually perfectly able. Our body is a strong machine. I mean,
yeah.
we're not weak, but
Yes.
there are aspects where we are just putting way too much. So if we can optimize the different parts where we can optimize, then we actually
Yeah.
then are better able to cope with the little bits that are there.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
we have been talking for nearly about an hour. So is there
Yeah.
anything else you feel you would like to add before we close up?
I'm not sure now. No. Just really looking forward to doing the day with you on July the 18th and be good old fun. And yeah, so just to make sure if people want to join in and because I'll be demonstrating everything that I'm talking about. I think it's important for people to see physically how things have
Yes.
been done and instead of just explaining it. So just have some bread soda, white vinegar, essential oils, preferably lemon, thyme and lavender to start off. And if you have any extra, bring them along as well. A lemon, just one lemon, organic lemon. You can buy it in any of the supermarkets. Spray bottles and recycled jars, recycled as well. Not you don't need to go out and buy all this spray stuff. You know, if you can recycle something from home or ask a neighbour or friend to give you an empty one they have, and some labels then for yourself, so you know what's in each thing that you've made.
Yes.
So that's it, really. Yeah,
Yes, and I would
yeah,
actually suggest if they can source the essential oils organic, that's way
absolutely.
better
Yes,
than if they're not.
absolutely. Yeah, Atlantic
Just
Aromatics are a great brand. Yeah, and they're Irish based as well, so you're supporting
yes.
your economy as well while you're at it. So, which is another story. But yeah, so yeah, that'll be it.
So that is fantastic. And Jeanette, thank you very much for your time. So uh,
So,
I want to thank anyone that has been listening to this interview. Now, I if you're listening to this before the 18th of July, I really invite you to join. There's going to be a link in the description below where you can actually join and register for the workshop, the online workshop of the 18th of July. Um, However, if you're listening to this interview afterwards, you're not missing out because you can always contact Jeanette at Mother Mia Herb. There's going to be all the contacts for Jeanette in the description below. And she's going to have plenty of these beautiful videos out, and she's going to be able to answer all your questions and give you all the products that you might be looking for or teach you how to do them. So, so if you are free for the 18, we'd love to have you there. There's going to be Jeanette talking about the product, and there's going to be myself doing amazing dive-ins and meditation with Gaia's Flow. So excited about it.
Yeah, be lovely, be nice. Interesting to do online together. But
Yes, yes,
it's all
yes.
part of the learning, isn't it? I suppose it's the way that everybody is going nowadays. It has to be kind of a certain percentage online now, isn't it? With the
To
lockdown and yeah,
bring this beautiful information out into the
yeah,
world, which is a
yeah,
good thing.
yeah.
Janet, thank you very much for your
Thank you.
time and for the wonderful information here. And we're going to see you again soon on the 18th. And with that, I'm going to close up and bye, everyone. Have a
Brilliant.
beautiful,
Thank you.
fantastic day.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed, feel free to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more. Join our growing international sisterhood at Free to Be a Goddess on Facebook. Join a tribe of women free to be their beautiful, wild and sacred selves, safe and supported. Find the link in the description.